I'm 88 years old, and I remember everything. Not because I'm some kind of genius, not because my brain escaped aging, but because of one small decision I made, one habit. 3 minutes a day, and it changed my life. But I'll tell you the full story, because like all good things in life, it began with a loss. It started slowly, the way time often does. One day I forgot where I placed my glasses. Then I forgot the name of a neighbor I'd known for 20 years. Then I started repeating myself over and over. At first, people were kind. They smiled, nodded, but I could see it in their eyes. He's getting old. What hurt the most wasn't what they saw in me. It was what I started to see in myself, a fading. I used to be a storyteller, not by profession, but by nature. Every gathering, every table, every long walk with a friend, I had stories of love, heartbreak, of war and peace, of births and burials, of lessons earned the hard way. But slowly my stories were slipping away, and I didn't know how to stop it. Until one morning, sitting alone by the window, I looked out at the sunrise and asked myself, what's still mine? The answer came softly. Time. Time. Not much, maybe, but mine. So I made a promise. Each day I'd take just 3 minutes to remember, not just to recall, but to write it down. I found an old leather journal tucked away in a drawer. Dusty, blank. I opened the first page and wrote, "Today I remember my mother's hands." That's it, nothing more. But something shifted. That single sentence lit a spark in my mind. Suddenly I saw her hands, the way they kneaded bread, braided my sister's hair, held my father's trembling fingers as he passed. The next day I wrote, "Today I remember the sound of my son's first laugh." And there it was again, that smile, toothless and wild, that laugh, high-pitched and contagious. Each memory became a door, and behind each door a piece of myself returned. Some days the memories were joyful, other days painful. But they were real, and they were mine. 3 minutes, a pen, a page, and a life slowly being restored. People ask me now, how do you remember so much? How is your mind still sharp? And I tell them the truth. I don't train my memory, I feed it. You see, the brain is like an old friend. Ignore it, and it grows distant. But visit it, speak with it, nourish it, and it stays close. Those 3 minutes each day, they were my visits, and with time 3 minutes became 5, then 10. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to. Writing became more than a habit. It became my companion, my confessional, my celebration. I wrote about my first kiss, my first heartbreak, the first time I held my daughter in my arms, so small, so warm, so utterly mine. I wrote about regrets too, the time I didn't say I'm sorry, the friendship I let drift, the ambition that once blinded me. And with every page, I healed. Memories, even the painful ones, are sacred because they mean you lived. I stopped fearing forgetting because now I was choosing to remember. And here's what surprised me most. As I wrote, other things returned. Names, faces, the smell of my childhood home, the way the sky looked before a summer storm, my wife's perfume, my brother's laugh, all of it coming back like faithful birds returning in spring. I didn't need crossword puzzles. I didn't need fancy apps or supplements. I just needed to talk to my memory. And it listened. Do you want to know something else? This habit didn't just help my mind, it helped my heart. Because memories carry emotion. When I wrote about my father, I cried. When I wrote about my wedding day, I smiled. When I wrote about my children, I felt pride swell inside me like the ocean. These weren't just recollections. They were a return to love, to grief, to wonder, a return to life. Sometimes my grandchildren ask, "Grandpa, how do you stay so happy?" And I tell them, because I carry my life with me every single day, not in my wallet, not on my phone, but in my mind, my heart. 3 minutes. That's all it takes to stay close to the person I've always been. You don't have to be a writer. You don't have to be wise. You just have to try. So, if you're listening to this, I ask you gently, what did you once love that you've forgotten? A smell? A song? A moment? Go find it again. Write it down. Whisper it aloud. Visit it like an old friend. Because the more you remember, the more alive you feel. And the more alive you feel, the longer your spirit stays here with the people who love you. I've lived 88 years, and I still feel every one of them. Not because time spared me, but because I didn't let time erase me. Each page of my journal is a candle, and I light one each day. Some burn bright, some flicker gently, but they all push back the darkness. You can do this too. Find a notebook, set a timer for 3 minutes, and start with one line. Today, I remember. That's it. That's the beginning of everything. Thank you for listening to my story. And if you're still here, maybe you were meant to hear this. Maybe your memories are waiting to be found too. Subscribe to Elderly Legacy, where stories are remembered, honored, and never forgotten.